Hello, this is 60 Goblins and One Brush with a video about how to make your own salamanders. Hello, this is 60 Goblins and One Brush with a video about how to make your own salamanders and razordons, but mainly salamanders because the old models are very old and not cheap. And we have seen and will see that the models themselves, the rules, are quite good. Why not take them? Because they're ugly. Sorry, I have to say these models are ancient, at least 20 years old, and I'm not going to order these very, very old models that were made from pewter or tin or whatever in the old days. I want these nice plastic models now. One of the last articles on Warhammer community site was painting and converting Seraphon. They basically told us in this article, sorry, we can't make new models right now. Please make them yourselves. With the example of the Battletome, they show here two very nice kit bashing creativity things. The last one here with Fire Slayer bits. Of course, you could always buy very expensive resin models of other companies to take as proxies, or you could make them yourselves off Games Workshop models. I have recommended before and will do so again Caleb Hastings' video on how to kit bash Razordons. I will not repeat this, just watch his video, it's great. Combined with the great rerolling ones epic historical battle, first new ruled Seraphon battle against Skaven. You really have to watch it too, at least the intro, that's really hilarious. Thanks rerolling ones, guys. And at the latest, when you will hold the new battletome in your hands, you will realize that the Fire Salamanders and the Razordons are really good. They went up in price, in point price a little bit, but they come in a team now. As far as I understood, they have 6 wounds. The beasts have 3, and then there are 3 handlers, so 6 wounds for 80 points. And they do a ton of damage in melee and especially in the shooting phase. Now let's have a look. This time I will do it very politically correct. I will quote the prices in euros, dollars and pounds. The 3 major Warhammer currencies. Sorry, I can't quote all of them. And I will also do it in different languages, Spanish and French and so on. So if you like the models for some reason, the old models, then you have a look what they cost. 24 euros, $30 or 1850 pounds. For the Salamanders and the Razordons a little bit more expensive, 25 euros, $35 and 20 pounds. This can get real expensive real fast. So alternatively, you can, as Caleb suggests, use cold ones. From the Cold One Knights, the best thing is probably to buy the old Collecting Seraphon box, because the box is as much as the Carnosaur. So you get all the Saurus Warriors and all the Saurus Knights for free on top. Or you buy the Saurus Warriors, why not? You can also buy them used on eBay. Sorry for the background noise. The Saurus Knights are 30 euros, $35 and 20 to 50 pounds. If you buy them new at Games Workshop, if you buy them at a stockist, of course they are 20% cheaper. I personally prefer the Drakespawn Knights, the new Cold One models. They're really nice. You can also use them for your, for example, you can buy the Drakespawn Knights and use the steeds for the Saurus Knights, and then use the old cold ones from the Saurus Knights for the Razordons. They are 26 euros, $30 and 22 pounds. Look at them, how streamlined and detailed they are. I still have 2 from the Anvil Guard box where I made the Charybdis, and there were 2 in there for the Chariot. So I got a good look, and they're so much nicer and so much more detailed than the old ones. If you use them for your Saurus Knights, you have to change the Saurus Knight riders a little bit because their stance, the way they sit, is too wide for the slim new monster. Now you could just do the same thing that Caleb did with the Razordons and paint it orange. Then you have a Salamander. But I thought about what else could you use. We don't want the same models for everything. So I looked around a little bit. First I had a look, how do salamanders actually look like? And they look totally different. They are amphibians after all, and not reptiles. And they cannot spit fire. Probably good for us. What looks a little bit more like the model is the basilisk. That's actually, when there are basilisks, one of my favorite animals. And they look a little bit like that, only not orange. Another thing that looks like this is the Australian frilled-necked lizard. Hello Australians who are listening to this video, you know them of course. Chlamydosaurus kingi. They have this really nice neck they can unfold when they're angry, and I immediately decided that's how I want my fire salamanders to look like. Which Warhammer model do you know that looks more or less like the frilled lizard, apart maybe from the tip of the mouth and the long tail? But the long tails is in no model, in no Games Workshop models, they adhere to the fact that most of the lizard's length is the tail. Look at a crocodile. Half of the crocodile, or 2/3, is a tail. Same with any other dinosaurs. That's right, the flesh hounds of Khorne. So while you can get 5 new cold ones or 8 old ones for the price of 1 Razordon or Fire Salamander, you pay a little bit more for the flesh hounds, but still they're 5 for 40 euros or $50 or £30, but that's still just a little bit more than you would pay for 1 Fire Salamander of the Seraphon. I have some old flesh hounds, but I also bought a box of the new flesh hounds when they came out, and I compared them size-wise with the new and the old cold ones, and also with the steeds of Slanesh, where I thought maybe they could fit, and I think the size is perfect. Skinks look tiny next to them, about the size of a leg. It's just like the main model, maybe a little bit shorter. So you can compare here. That's the old cold one with Seraphon. That's the new one. I sprayed it with Gracia. The tail is a little bit longer, and all in all it's much slimmer. Really, really nice. Okay, the old one is fine as well. Now let's have a look here. The Hound of Khorne, it was sprayed in red. I sprayed some Wraithbone on top. It's quite nice, especially if you compare it to this. It's about the same size. You could even, this would even more or less fit. Yeah, a little bit smaller. So I've sprayed one of them in black and one in Wraithbone, and let's see what we can make out of them. Wow, I'm rocking the table again. Let's see what we can make out of them. Maybe a hat or a brooch. Let's see. I also contemplated for a while to use Hydra heads, but they're just too big. Doesn't work. No. And to see the skink size. No, quite nice. So let's see. One of the models, this one I want to paint in an orange style, and this one in the original Salamander style, black with orange or yellow spots. Usually for Seraphon, contrast color are very handy, but if you look at Iron Yellow and Gryph-hound Orange, they're kind of dirty. I want a crisp orange look. Fortunately, we have all kinds of nice colors like Fire Dragon Bright, Troll Slayer Orange, and maybe even Wild Rider Red and so on. So we'll make a glaze. for the orange one, and for the black one we can start with a light red and then build up lighter colors. So we'll use here equal amounts of Trolls Layer Orange and Contrast Medium, and glaze or wash or contrast or whatever the whole beast. So now we have a nice orange model. That's a good first step. Now for the black one. So we'll start painting patterns with Mephiston Red because it's a base color. Anywhere, like you just have a look at pictures of salamanders. So I painted the good old two thin coats of red over the black. Don't worry if you mess anything up. You can always correct it later with black, with Abaddon Black. And I painted the spikes on top in red and also the tail. Now for some orange on top. While the orange salamander is still drying, I'll take some Wild Rider Red and a thinner brush, and then I paint on top of the red bits like this. So this starts to lighten up a little bit, and again I paint the most of the tail in red, and then I will also dry brush or draw the lines here on the spikes. The orange one is still not dry, so we repeat the same procedure as every year with Trolls Layer Orange, again on top to lighten it up a step further. The orange one is still not dry. This one is getting more and more salamander-like. And next step is Fire Dragon Bright. Same thing again. Same procedure. And now I will draw the lines a little bit narrower so that some of the other red and orange will still show through, so it will really look like as if the heat is radiating from the body. A bit dragon-like. Do you know this great movie where this alien guy is landing on a Viking planet and has this dragon monster with him? Really nice. Okay, it's already quite salamandery. Now we'll switch to Yriel Yellow. Now that's more like it. We'll show a better picture later. But I think you get the idea. It's not a super neat job, but I just wanted to try it out how it looks. It looks less cornite and more salamandery by every stroke. Then we have to do the base, of course, the mouth. Let's see, now we have a look at the orange one. It's dry now. Okay, next step. Next step is actually another layer of glaze because you see too many brush strokes. It's the old two thin coats thing. Okay, that looks better. That looks quite orangey-like. Do you know these toads, these orange tree frogs, these red-eyed tree frogs? They're usually green, I think, but they're also orange frogs, this poisonous frogs, and there's one very nice snake in that color. Bothrops something, lanceolata, not sure. Now with our salamander here, we do the mouth now. We start with a layer of red again, and then we lighten it up so that it looks like as if he was breathing fire. First in red, I'll show you how it's supposed to look. I have this red dragon here, black dragon, with a tint of blue, and he has this mouth. This I really can't get, now I have the sound correct, but I can't get the light properly. Yeah, you see it a little bit, yeah. It gets lighter and lighter the far back into the gullet it goes. Meanwhile, for the base, I will use some World Bearer's Red to build up some scorched earth effect. Then I will use some Flash Gitz Yellow to even accentuate the yellow parts a little bit more. Okay, that's already pretty colorful. And then the mouth is dark red now inside, and I will start with the first layer of light red further down. And then I'll paint the claws with Morghast Bone. Then the mouth again inside with some orange. Around the scorched earth on the base, some Caliban Green or another green or brown. I remember the name of the movie, Outlander, the one where the alien humanoid guy lands on the Viking planet and brings a dragon with him by mistake. Okay, it's orange now. Now we give it a shade. We make our own orange because again the Fuegan orange is a little bit dirty. We take Crimsonburg Red and Cassandra Yellow and give it a shade. Okay, that's quite nice. And now we can do the colors. Both the Salamanders and the Razordons and also the Fleshhounds, they have colors. So we paint them in gold, of course. Then I will continue with Yriel Yellow back in the very back of the throat. These are reptiles, not demons anymore. I will paint the eyes green. And then the farthest bit in the throat with white. And the teeth in Wraithbone. And also the sharp edges of the claws here in Wraithbone. And it's time for some Abaddon Black to fix on the black one, to fix your mistakes and also to paint the rim of both bases. And it's time for Yriel Yellow to dry brush or accentuate the lines and the edges on the orange one. You can also first use Trollslayer Orange or Fire Dragon Bright and then yellow. Then Agrax Earthshade for the floor of the base. On the green and red we painted, and Skeleton Contrast or Seraphim Sepia for the claws and the teeth. Then there are some skulls and some stones on the bases, so any gray with some Nuln Oil and Morghast Bone or Wraithbone for the skull with some Seraphim Sepia or Skeleton Horde again. Salamanders are amphibians, so if you like, you can take some art coat and make it glossy. I will try it with the black and yellow one. And lastly, we had some grass on the green parts of the base and some sand and maybe a tuft or so on the scorched earth part of the base. And then we glue on some brushy bits with, what's it called, super glue. The shrubbery will take even more away of that cornate vibe. So in the end, you get something like that. It doesn't look like a fleshhound anymore. It looks like a salamander, even if the head could be improved. Find some heads. You could also, for more elaborate and more expensive designs, you could take the tail and the head of those new cold ones or the old cold ones and then attach it to the body of the fleshhounds. But then you could just as well just take this. Here you have, with both you kind of have to get rid of the saddle, but you can do that with green stuff. And here, these ropes also you have to get rid of, but that's small work. So either or, you could just as well paint one of the gold ones like that. But I think the glossy is really good. Really turned out well. And I even painted that one glossy, and I think it comes across quite nice as well. I'm not usually a glossy fan, but in this case it fits. This, because it's kind of yellowy orange, it still has a bit of the cornet thing. But here you wouldn't think of a fleshhound anymore. It actually looks really like a salamander. I'm quite happy with that one. Okay, that's it for today, guys and girls. Tell me what you think of my conversion idea to beat the bloodhounds into submission until they reach Seraphon supremacy. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for watching, and leave your comments below. See you soon.